Hello, welcome back to I Create For You. It's Friday, and today we'll have a story out of the Haunted Houses book along with a sketch. We'll pull you a little closer. Alright, and today's story is called The Mysterious Bedroom. One hot August night in 1960 in Prescott, Wisconsin, George Wolfe lay on his bed, trying to sleep. He listened to the crickets and tree frogs making their summer music. Suddenly, he heard the sound of slippered feet pacing in Uncle Otto's room, which was next to his own. The floorboards creaked as the feet went back and forth. The only problem was that Uncle Otto had been dead for 2 years. George crept down the hall and opened the door to the room. He saw nothing. Everything was exactly as it had been when Uncle Otto died in 1958. Otto had lived with the wolves for 26 years. He was a kind man who had been an important part of the family. In the last years of his life, because of blindness and frail health, he had spent a good deal of time in his bedroom. He often paced the floor at night when he couldn't sleep. Now, 2 years later, the pacing started again. Every time George went to investigate, the noise stopped. George wondered if the noise was caused by mice, squirrels, or the Siamese cats in the house. One night he sprinkled flour around the room and checked for paw prints the next morning. There were none. Another night, when George passed Uncle Otto's room, the door was slightly open. George glanced in. The rocking chair was moving back and forth, very slowly. The rocker had been Uncle Otto's favorite chair. George checked to see if a breeze or the cats were moving it. He could find nothing. Still another evening, someone accidentally shut one of the cats in Uncle Otto's room. The next morning, George's mother found a terrified cat sitting in the middle of the room. Its eyes were wide and the fur stood straight up from its back. The cat never went upstairs again. No one in the family felt afraid, however. The uncle had always been such a kindly man that they were sure his ghost would never cause any harm. Some authorities on the subject say that the ghost activity increases when hard times such as illness or financial disaster come to a family. That may have been true for the Wolves. Not long after the haunting began, George's parents, Carl and Marion Wolfe, began having health problems that cost them a lot of money. By December of 1967, the family decided to sell their house so they could pay the bills. Apparently, Uncle Otto's ghost was not happy with this decision. One morning, George and his parents awoke to a pounding from Uncle Otto's room, which sounded like a giant handball bouncing off the walls. Shortly after the house was sold, the poundings and knockings grew worse and spread from his room to other rooms. Then, a few weeks before the family moved, an unbelievable incident occurred. George was reading in his room when suddenly he heard a tremendous splintering sound. He ran out into the hallway and looked toward Uncle Otto's room. The huge oak door of the room was being pulled slowly from its hinges. It was as if invisible hands were ripping at the door frame. Mrs. Wolfe rushed upstairs too, just in time to see the huge oak door thrown into the middle of the hallway. Heavy bolts hung from the broken door frame. During its 8 years of haunting, Uncle Otto's ghost never touched any of the family. But on one of the last mornings he lived in the house, George was awakened by a soft brushing against his face. It felt like a human hand touching his cheek. At first George thought it was one of the cats. He turned on the light. There sat the cat in an old chair, its back arched. Its frightened eyes followed the movement across the room of something George could not see. Then it was gone. George believed that Uncle Otto had come to say goodbye. That was the last the family felt or heard from his ghost. That's a long time for that ghost to be in that house. And the good part was it was a friendly ghost. So I'm going to try to illustrate the poor kitty cat that got caught in the room. I can only imagine that poor cat not being able to get out of there. But I'm surprised it didn't make a kind of, hissing, screaming noise and going crazy to get out. So I'm just going to draw the face because I can just imagine that cat just looking. So here we go. Scaredy cat, poor thing. You can only imagine if they can't, because animals can sense those things. So it must have really been like tenfold for that cat, because it probably could actually not only sense it but see it because of the way it was following something that was in that room that George's room that night, and he could see that the cat was, his head was like following, like he was seeing something. I just can't imagine what, you always wonder what they actually do see. Do you really want to see it yourself? But like I said, since it was kind of a happy ghost, not really happy, but not a malevolent one that wanted to do harm, I can just imagine that it wouldn't have been such a horrible sight. But if it was upset and mad, maybe so. And if that would happen to have been the same cat, that poor cat, you know what I mean? Well, yes and no, I don't know. Okay. Gotta give it big eyes, because, it just saw something very, very, very scary to it. And could you imagine if they realized that the cat realized and sensed that that wasn't a human form, looked like it, but not, you know what I mean? Okay, we'll try to get the cat looking scared enough. My printer's having a moment. Oh, I can't make it look happy. That one made it look happy. We'll do it this way. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. Try to make him a little scary. His hair's up and on end everywhere. I wonder if they had they said they had Siamese cats. That's right. I was just going to say, I wonder if it was a black cat. Gonna make his hair stand out. He was extremely scared. Pussycat. And there's our scaredy cat. He's very scared. He's like, what the heck is that? That is not something I want to be around. Let me out of here. Get me out of there. There he is. There's the scaredy cat. All right, I don't think we have too many more stories. Maybe one or two left in here. And then I was just told yesterday at the doctor that could be 2 to 4 months that I'm in this boot. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully not. Might just have to get a trip out because I'm going stir crazy. It's my right foot, so I can't drive. So I'm basically stuck here. And then Mark works, and he's always outside, so he wants to just relax at home. So it's sort of a push and pull. I want to get out, and he wants to stay in. So it's not working too well at the moment, me getting out, unless I really, really try. So anywho, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this little ghost story. I don't know what book I'm going to have after this one. I'll have to check out and see. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. And I won't see you guys till Monday. Please stay happy, stay healthy, stay creative, stay colorful, stay creepy, stay true to yourself, and stay kind to others. And stay tuned for the next video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have already, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.